The first case we'll hear today is Gregory versus Commissioner of Internal Revenue, number 19-2229.
Prior to this experience, I had never represented clients in court before, but I knew I wanted to take this case because it was about protecting taxpayer rights against the IRS, which is an area of strong passion for me. Going into federal court, you never really know what the judges are going to ask you, so the challenges are mastering the case, cogently answering the questions from the bench, and then pivoting back to the strengths of your argument so you could best represent your clients.
The case involves the issue of whether sending the IRS a power of attorney form updates the taxpayer's last known address. The last known address issue is critical because when the IRS sends a notice of deficiency to the taxpayer, which gives the taxpayer the right to go to court, if they don't send it to the taxpayer's address, then the taxpayer doesn't know they have the right to go to court. And in this case, the IRS sent the notice of deficiency to the Gregory's prior address, using the address on their last tax return. The tax court found that the Gregorys didn't use the proper method for changing their address, so the IRS's delivery of the statutory notice of deficiency to their old address was appropriate, and therefore dismissed the Gregorys' petition on the basis that they didn't file the petition in time. And the case was set for trial on April 16th. And in the spring semester, I asked which students wanted to argue this case. And Oliver very much wanted to argue the case. So then we began our preparation of the case for the moot court.
May it please the court. Oliver Roberts of the Harvard Legal Services Clinic on behalf of appellants Damien and Shayla Gregory. I would like to reserve 3 minutes for rebuttal, Your Honor. Thank you. The Gregorys asked that the court rule that the statutory notice of deficiency mailed to the Gregorys' old address be deemed invalid because it was not sent to their last known address.
We had learned that the oral argument was going to be an oral argument over the telephone. So the goal of the moots was to prepare Oliver, but the goal of the last moot was to specifically prepare Oliver for arguing just by telephone with the inability to see anybody else and the inability to contact me very easily.
We began prepping for this oral argument back in February when it was scheduled to be in person in Philadelphia. However, in order to prepare for this shift in venue, we moved from moots in person to moots over Zoom and over the phone to best prepare for the change in venue. Some difficulties of a telephonic oral argument include the fact that you cannot gauge the reactions of the panel before you when you raise different points. You also have many judges on the phone at once, and they oftentimes talk over one another. So it's a matter of being patient, allowing for pauses in your oral argument so judges can intervene, and preparing ahead of time by listening to other oral arguments, engaging the practices of the different judges. Since there's no oral argument dress code for telephonic hearings, I decided to maintain a semi-formal attire. I wore a blazer and shirt on top and pajamas on the bottom. I'm actually wearing the same blazer and shirt I wore for the oral argument. I'm kind of an alpha repeater, but luckily we're not judged based on style.
Oliver did just a spectacular job, so I didn't need to communicate with him very much. I thought Oliver was super prepared. The outcome that we're hoping for is a legal opinion from the court that providing the IRS with a power of attorney form does update the address. of the taxpayer for purposes of last known address, that it acts as clear and concise notice. If we can't win on the legal issue, our goal is to win on the factual issue in this case, because the notice was provided to an individual at the IRS who was working their case, and there were two other forms of notification of the IRS. So we think that if we can't win the broad legal issue, which is our goal, that we have a chance of winning the narrow notification issue in this case.
Overall, this was an amazing experience, and I'm very grateful to Keith Fogg and Audrey Patton in the tax clinic for preparing me so well for this oral argument. For me, this was a foundational experience protecting taxpayer rights against the IRS, and I look forward to being a fierce advocate for taxpayer rights far into the future. I also wanted to take the time to thank my fellow Harvard classmates, specifically Perry Goffner, Andrew Metry, Aaron Silberman, and Mike Hornzell for taking part in practice moot oral arguments with me, and probably being even harsher on me than faculty were during our other moot arguments. Thank you.
Well, we'd like to thank counsel, and in particular, Mr. Roberts. Fantastic job. Have you argued before a court of appeals yet?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is my first time.
You did a terrific job. Really, really great work.
Shows what a Harvard Law School education will do for you.
Thank you. Thank you.